Hello, good afternoon, ciao. Welcome to today's Postgrad Insight session. Today, focusing on the great country in Europe of Italy. I know many of you have signed up, very intrigued to find out more information from today's sponsors, Politecnico di Milano. There will be a presentation coming from them shortly, with some fantastic information, along with insights as to what it's like to live in northern Italy, where Milano is based, along with a Q&A at the end. But before I begin, a few house rules for today. A reminder that this is a live session. It is also being streamed live on Facebook and on LinkedIn as well. A reminder that if you do want to ask any questions or have any concerns or issues, at the bottom of your screen, there will be a Q&A or there will be a comment section, a live chat facility. Please ensure you ask any questions on there and we'll do our very best to make sure that we either answer the question live for you or we reach out to you before or after the Q&A. Also, by signing up to this session, you're giving both Postgrad Solutions, who Postgrad Insights belongs to, along with Politecnico Milano, the right to contact you moving forward. And if you do wish to opt out of this, please contact myself, Gareth, at postgradsolutions.com. Alternatively, send through a message in the chat and we'll do our very best to make sure we come back to you now. So on to postgrad.com and Postgrad Insights and what we do and what this presentation will cover. So we'll explain a little bit more about what postgrad.com is, who we are. Many of you may have used our website in the past. Many of you may never have heard of us. But it will give you a useful insight into what you can do to help yourself, all things postgraduate. There's a chance to win a £500 bursary. There are European bursaries as well, which is a great opportunity for everybody viewing today and on demand also. There will be a short slide based on top 10 reasons to study in Italy. As we know, the Politecnico Milano, today's sponsors, they will know better than anyone, being from the country, being from the region, living and breathing in that city, in that culture, and they will be enlightening us as to exactly the benefits. And there'll also be information after the presentation from Milano about UK Festival Week that we have coming up, along with upcoming Postgrad Insights. So to begin with, what is Postgrad? Who are we? So over 10 million students have used our website to find their postgraduate program. This has spanned over many years. Students from over 200 countries have not only looked to apply for a course using our website, but we've also got 200 different countries of which institutions are offering courses at, offering you a wide variety of courses from all over the globe. We have fantastic partnerships with the likes of Chevening and Marshall scholarships from all over the globe, which will entitle you to get scholarships into UK and to various different European countries as well. The best advice on accommodation, visas, careers, a very important one, in English language support, funding, subjects, much more, including obviously the very relevant topic of COVID at the moment. So please head over to postgrad.com should you wish to find out a little bit more information on that. And also eligibility for our Postgrad Solutions bursaries worth £500 each. I mentioned earlier about these different bursaries and who can apply and what it entails. So the nuts and bolts are anybody can apply from any university from all over the world. We have different subject areas and different countries of students that can win. So we are currently accepting students that do eventually go on to apply at Italian universities that can apply for our £500 bursary. They could have started in January gone, September now, or in January coming up as well. But the deadline is the end of September. So please do ensure that you get your application sent through now, and we will do our level best to make sure that you win that £500 bursary. It doesn't impact on any other financial opportunity that you have asked for, requested. This is purely an addition, and we will take that £500 of any potential tuition costs. So on to today's theme, Italy. A few reasons as to why it's the best place to study in Europe and the world, really. So they've got a very good quality education system. It will come as no surprise, being a major European country, that they are very, very strong in many different disciplines, and a lot of their courses are taught in English. Obviously, their courses will also be taught in Italian as well. So if that's the angle you'd like to go down, that's fine. Please reach out. The Italian language is very well known all over the globe. You'll get immersed in it. It's fantastic. Unfortunately, my Italian skills don't stretch very far, as today's sponsors found out earlier. But yeah, it's a fantastic language to learn and to get involved in. The food, everyone knows about the food there, pizza, pasta, and so on. It's very, very affordable. The most important thing is how much it costs to live there. Compared to other major countries and cities around Europe, London, Paris, Madrid, it's very affordable in Italy, and something that they take great pride on as well. Cultural cities, including Rome, Milan, Florence, and Venice, with fantastic coastal lines, iconic landmarks. If you're into your sports, football, skiing, being so close to the Italian Alps, so football, tennis, rugby, they're into it all. So, you know, you're not going to be short of things to do whilst you're in Italy. And also the accessibility as well. You are so close in mid-Eastern Europe around other countries. So if you did want to explore other countries, there are airports all over Italy, in particular in Milan, which is going to be mentioned in a moment's time. International airports, great transport links, and the very best technology providers as well. So what I would like to do now, that's my bit done. Obviously, there's only so much I can do because I don't actually live in Italy. We're based in the UK-based company. I'd like to introduce today's sponsors, Politecnico Milano, and my partner Marina, who is going to explain to you and give you a presentation on all things there is to do with Italy and Milan themselves. Now, there will be a Q&A at the end of this session, which the sponsors are aware of. For those of you that are asking questions on today's platform, Zoom, please continue to ask them. And I can see the questions coming through on social media as well. We will do our level best to ensure we answer as many of these at the end of the session as possible. But for now, I'll hand you over to Marina, who has had many, many years, close to 20 years experience in her role now. So no one knows this place better than her, and I'll hand you over now. For now, thank you very much, and I'll hand you over. Any questions, do let me know. Thank you. Over to you, Marina.
Thank you, Gareth, for introducing us. I'm so pleased to be here today and that there are many students listening to us. I will now share my screen so we can start our presentation. Politecnico di Milano is an historical university in Italy, founded in 1863, so 2 years after Italy was unified to a single state. And it was founded to train the professionals who would then make a fundamental contribution to the economic development of the country. And so it is still today. It's a state university. Our aim is not to make money, but to have an impact on society by carrying out research for development, for progress, but also by training excellent experts who then, of course, make a contribution to the life of the country. The reputation of our university is, sorry, I have to start with the presentation here. The reputation of our country is, sorry, I have a problem with the connection, is very strong. Politecnico di Milano is ranked first Italian university by QS, 5th world best in design, 10th world best in architecture, and 20th world best in engineering. It has also strong connections to the leading technical universities in Europe. It belongs to alliances such as Idea League or Enhance or Alliance for Tech, meaning that students who arrive in Milan can really make an international experience. Milan is a hub for innovation, is the economic capital of Italy. It's the second largest city in Italy after Rome, and it is really the heart of Italy's most productive region, that is the Lombardy region. Milan is the capital of fashion, of design. It's very important also for architecture because you can really see beauty throughout centuries, from the Roman time up to the modern skyscrapers. It is a very international city with so many different cultures here, and it's a student city. We have a population of about 1,600,000 students, and 200,000 students are students who come to Milan to study at our universities, because they know that Lombardy and Milan are a land of opportunities, and that the education system is very, very high quality, provides high quality education. It's very nice to do, to enjoy also the cultural life in Milan. Here you can see the Navigli, which is a famous place where students meet in the evening. There are many pubs, but Milan is really a cultural city as well. You can see here the gallery that connected the dome, the cathedral, to the Scala Theatre, which is renowned throughout the world for its beautiful ballets and for the opera. If any exhibition or concert comes to Italy, it comes to Milan, and students can attend with attractive prices, with discounts for students. So life in Milan can be very engaging and nice, and not only on the campus, also outside. Politecnico di Milano, however, has got the main campuses in Milano, Leonardo, and Milano Bovisa. In Milano Bovisa, we have the largest infrastructures, the largest laboratories, and the laboratories of design. But we also have some campuses in surrounding places here in the Lombardy region. Como and Lecco are based on close to the Lake of Como, which is a wonderful lake close to the mountains. Cremona is a nice town, famous for music. It was the town of Stradivari, the famous violin makers. And we have there a nice program on music and acoustic engineering. And we also have a brand new program on the agricultural engineering. Mantova is a nice UNESCO seat, really well known for its fantastic heritage of arts. So we have there, for instance, a nice program of architecture based on the preservation of historical buildings. Piacenza is southeast of Milan, and it is on the country, and at the same time, it is surrounded by some industries. So we have there a focus on environmental issues. As you can see, Politecnico is based in the north of Italy, very close to the mountains. And we have said that it is very interesting for the life in Milan for students. So I would suggest that Davide joins. He's a former student of Politecnico di Milano, and he can tell you something about life in Milan and leisure activities besides being a student. Thank you, Davide.
Thank you, Marina, for inviting me. It's an honor for me to be here with you. So just Milan, from students' point of view, I think Milan is a very welcoming city that offer everything, including sport, entertainment, or Italian culture. Even my university friends, who have moved to Milan from abroad or from other Italian regions, have quickly become part of the context, not only of my Milano, Politecnico di Milano, but also of the city. Among us students, it is usually to organize some activity in the center area of the city, because it is easily reachable by subway or, for example, other public transport. And this is a very good point for a student. As you said before, Marina, Milan has a very strategic position on the Italian territory. Indeed, I mean, during the winter season, in short time from Milan, you can find yourself, I mean, on these ski slopes, while, I mean, during the summer season, you can reach sea and beaches very, very, very quickly. I mean, all this stuff, as I said, now is very good for Milan, but I think that if you live in Milan and you want to attend the Politecnico di Milano, you need to know, I mean, how to organize your study and university activity to I mean, reconcile studying and all the opportunity that Milano has to offer. So this is a good point. Now, I mean, focusing specifically on the Politecnico di Milano. Next slide, please. Okay. Yeah, focusing on specifically on Politecnico di Milano, I think, I mean, it offers a very good possibility to put in practice, I mean, what is covered during the lesson through a large number of labs with different research topics. And I mean, in particular, during my bachelor, I have always been very interested, for example, in CPU design, which I imagine, I mean, many of you know as a word. And I was lucky enough to know a professor in charge of one of these particular laboratories, in particular the computer architecture labs of Politecnico di Milano, that is called Next Lab, that, I mean, supported me during my study by attending conferences and hackathon. Hackathon, I mean, just are, I mean, competition where you can challenge yourself to solve some problem, or, I mean, some coding algorithms or something like this. I mean, just to conclude this topic, I believe that for an engineer, putting, I mean, to practice what you have studied is crucial. And Politecnico, about this, has proven to be perfect. Offer a lot of opportunity for the student to be part of this laboratory and to increase, I mean, their ability and their knowledge about, for example, a particular topic. So the wide spectrum of the laboratory is a very good point for Politecnico di Milano.
Thank you, Davide. Thank you so much. I think you have provided students good insights. I assume that many of you are worried about the situation with COVID and may be wondering how about the situation in Italy and what did Politecnico do during that period. As you may know, Italy was struck severely last year, very suddenly and unexpectedly, but Politecnico was able to shift lessons from the presence into online within 1 week for 47,500 students, and all the professors and all the activities were offered online. Also, students who were about to graduate, and Davide was one of them, were able to finish their lessons and to finish their thesis work and to graduate online without any delay. At the same time, our laboratories were really responsible, wanted to help the community face this struggle against the virus. So we made many laboratories available to the community, and we carried out research on, for instance, on materials for the protection of doctors. And we also produced disinfectants to support the community face the pandemic. Of course, we are aware that lessons in presence are far better experience. So now we are going back, we are opening to presence, we are opening our campus, our lessons are currently held, we'll start the academic year in presence. Our students are back to the laboratories, and we are pleased to welcome many international students. Of course, if there are some students that are still unable to reach Italy, they don't have to worry because they will be able to follow lessons online. But we look forward to welcoming them all in Italy. And here we can see Davide graduating from home. maybe Davide will be a famous alumnus. We have many famous alumni, actually. Among them, we have, for instance, Renzo Piano, who built many iconic buildings, such as the Shard Tower in London, and also Aldo Rossi is another famous architect, or Giulio Natta, who was a Nobel Prize winner for chemistry in the 60s. By the way, Renzo Piano has also helped us renovate our campus of architecture that is brand new and includes new laboratories, classrooms, and study rooms. It's really nice. You should really come. If you are willing to study architecture, you will find a brand new campus. But as I told you before, Politecnico di Milano is not famous only for top quality education. It is a very important research institution. Politecnico di Milano is the Italian university that is able to attract more funds for research purposes, both corporate research and funds from the European Union. It is no doubt ranked #1 in terms of number of projects financed by the European Union. So this results in a huge amount of papers that are published on peer-reviewed magazines. This results in patents that are used by many companies, in spin-offs, and all this is carried out in a huge number of laboratories that has excellent technical equipment. We also have some large infrastructures, for instance, the wind tunnel. The wind tunnel is really the largest in Europe of this kind, and it is crucial to test many buildings, for instance, prototypes of buildings, of products that are subject to wind. There is an important material testing lab, and there is also Polyfab, which is a clean room to develop materials that need to be prepared without any absence of dust. It is very important, for instance, for micro and nano structured surfaces. There is then the Polyfab for design. It is a sort of co-working space where students or former students can develop their own ideas, having the facilities of Politecnico di Milano and assistance from the professors. So there is really a lot that can be done at this innovative university. And Politecnico di Milano is not only based in Italy, so immersed in the Italian culture, it is also a very international university. We have about 47,500 students, out of which 7,300 are international students coming from more than 100 different countries. In this slide, you can see the countries most of the students come from. So there is all the continents are represented at Politecnico di Milano, but of course there are more students coming from Russia, from China, India, Iran, Africa, all Europe, but also South America and North America are very well represented. So it's a nice mixture of cultures, and you might happen to be carrying out your thesis with students really from different parts of the world. This is definitely an advantage because you learn to meet other cultures and to understand each other, and you understand a different way of conceive works and to look at things. We also have a very international university in terms of professors, because on one side, thanks to the alliances we have many international professors who hold the lectures at our university. On the other, we are attractive, and we have welcomed many important visiting professors, such as Katsuhiro Seshima or Eduardo Suto de Mura. Both are Pritzker Prize winners, so very important for architecture students. Let us now take a look at the Italian education system that may vary from your home country. We have 13 years of school. Afterwards, we have 3 years of bachelor's. And then we have 2 years of laurea magistrale, which corresponds to a Master of Science degree. And afterwards, we have 3 years of PhD. So to have access to a PhD, you need to have a laurea magistrale, a Master of Science degree, not a specializing master. What is a specializing master? We do have also specializing masters of first level after the bachelor or of second level after the Master of Science. But these are not university degrees. These are particularly addressed to students who want to work in a very specific field, so they will know everything about that particular field to work in that field. If you want to have an acknowledged university degree that is acknowledged everywhere and that allows you to go on with a PhD, you should choose a Master of Science degree, that is a laurea magistrale. This lasts 2 years and is wider in scope, so you will be also more flexible in terms of employment afterwards. Our educational offer includes a lot of programs that are taught in English. However, at bachelor level, we have 25 programs, and most of them are taught in Italian. Only 2 are taught in English, that is architectural design and civil engineering. Whereas at Master of Science, almost all the programs are taught in English. And for this reason, we have an increasing number of international students. PhD programs are only taught in English, and there are 19 different programs. In addition, we have many agreements with the top university based all over the world. So you might find that there are double degrees opportunities with universities of your country. So check and discover this opportunity as well. Let us now talk about the different programs at Master of Science level. Let us start with architecture. As I told you, architecture studied in Italy is just fantastic because the classroom expands well beyond the walls of your campus, because all the inspiration that you can find is amazing outside. Just imagine that we are the land throughout the world with the largest heritage of arts, and you can see beauty throughout centuries. So definitely add to your preparation in the university also many visits outside in the country. There are different programs of architecture with a different focus. Architecture, built environment, interiors taught in Milan also includes in architecture of interiors. Architecture and urban design is similar. The first year at least is similar. The programs differentiate in the second year. In terms of built environment, architecture, built environment, interiors concentrates on the European landscape, whereas architecture and urban design takes into consideration also architecture in other countries outside Europe. So with the different infrastructures and particular situations that may arise while building. Architectural design and history, I mentioned this before, is taught in Mantova and focuses on the preservation of historical buildings. Building architecture is self-explanatory. It does not include any landscape or any architecture of interiors, only building architecture. Then sustainable architecture is taught in Piacenza and focuses on aspects of sustainability in architecture, even though the aspects of sustainability can be found in all the programs, but there it is a particular focus. Then we have, of course, 2 other programs that prepare you to become either an urban planner or a landscape architect. whereas the 5 programs I mentioned before are meant to become architects. The design campus is on the Bovisa campus, and it is really very lively. There are events all throughout all the year, and you can find a fantastic inspiration by seeing installations there. And also the Design Week in Milan is a fantastic opportunity for designers, because all the city transforms into an open-air museum with installations everywhere, and all the major designers coming to Milan in that fantastic week. You can find a wide choice of design programs with different areas: product service system design, design for a fashion system. Design and engineering is the only design program that is open also to engineers and not only to students with a background in design. Integrated product design, digital and interaction design, interior and spatial design, communication design. Communication design still includes some programs that are taught in Italian. But I think that if you come to study to Milan, it is a great opportunity to study also the Italian language and to be immersed in the Italian culture and to take the most out of your experience. And for this reason, Politecnico is offering really this opportunity of learning Italian too. But let's go on now with engineering. With engineering, the educational offer is really huge. And you can apply to 2 different programs to have more opportunities of being admitted. There are all the ranges. I think all the aspects of engineering are covered: agricultural engineering, biomedical, chemical, materials engineering, nuclear engineering, computer science, electrical and electronics engineering, energy engineering, physics, telecommunication. There are really many possibilities: aeronautical, space, mechanical engineering, automation and control engineering. Then there are, of course, building engineering, civil engineering for risk mitigation. These are so important also to manage seismic regions, to plan buildings and in a safe way. Then environmental and land planning. Environmental issues are so important now. And geoinformatics, if you are interested in informatics and environmental issues at the same time, you have the opportunity of choosing this particular program where you can treat all the data coming from satellites to monitor the state of health of our planet. Then there is, of course, management engineering with all the 15 different tracks, management of built environment, or mathematical engineering. So the choice is really very wide. And in addition, we have 2 joint degrees with 2 other Italian universities. Cyber risk strategy and governance is held with Bocconi University. Bocconi University is famous for economics, so they deal with all the legal aspects connected with cybersecurity, whereas all the technical part is dealt at Politecnico di Milano. Bioinformatics for computational genomics is a joint degree together with Università degli Studi di Milano. They focus on research of science, and not applied science, just pure sciences. So they cover the biological part of this program, whereas the computational part, the technical part, is covered by Politecnico di Milano. So you see, there are many opportunities of studying at our university. How about the application? You will soon be able to start your application. The first date, the first call to start your studies in September next year will open on the 7th of September until the 18th of November. So this is the first call for next year's intake to start your studies in September 2022. There will be a second call from the 11th of January up to the 8th of March. If you want to start your studies in engineering in the second semester, this is possible. The application call will be in the summer, so in June, July of next year, to start your studies in February 23. The application is easy and is entirely online. So first of all, you've got to check your entry requirements. Of course, you need to have an English language certificate because the programs are taught in English and it is mandatory to have a good command of the English language. However, if you are a native speaker or you have carried out your studies entirely, bachelor studies entirely in English, then you don't have to produce any other certification. Then, after checking your requirements, you can register online, you enter your personal details, you get a person code that will identify you throughout all your career at Politecnico. Then you enter with these credentials, your RAD services, and you can start to apply online. You apply online, you upload all the required documents, the academic qualification, the transcripts, the course description, a motivation letter, a recommendation letter. If you apply to architecture or design, it is mandatory to upload a portfolio of your works, which is a fundamental element of evaluation. It is very useful to have a GRE if you apply to architecture or engineering programs. Then, the third step, you submit your application, you pay an application fee of 50 euros, and then you will be considered first by our admission office and then by the professors of the programs you apply to. Tuition fees for bachelor programs are according to the family income. For Master of Science programs, tuition fees for European students are according to the family income and can vary from a minimum of 900 up to a maximum of 3,900 euros. For non-EU students, the fees are the normal total fees, that is 3,900 euros a year. As I told you, this is a state university. We're able to offer these low tuition fees because we are funded by the Italian government. But this does not mean that if we have low tuition fees that you will not get top quality education. On the contrary, this is a demanding university, but we want to attract many international students. And many of you might find even these fees a bit too high. Anyway, we are able to offer quite a good number of merit-based scholarship to talented international students. There are basically, you don't have to apply to the scholarship, you apply to the Politecnico di Milano. If you're admitted, you confirm your admission, you upload the English language certificate, and then you can be considered for a merit-based scholarship. There will be a committee that will meet to award scholarship according to the ranking of admitted applicants. And these scholarships are of different value. Platinum scholarships are of the amount of 10,000 euros a year, gold scholarship 5,000 euros a year, and of course both scholarships have no tuition fees. Then there is silver scholarship, which is a tuition fee waiver. As I told you, no application is required for these scholarships. In addition, for some countries, there are some other scholarships that are offered, for instance, by the Italian Ministry, Foreign Ministry, and Ministry of Cooperation. So, for instance, take a look at the MAECI website or at the Invest Your Talent in Italy website, which is also a very interesting opportunity for specific countries. The PhD programs are 19. The application to PhD occurs between April and May every year. The results are available in July and the year starts in November. It is necessary to have a Master of Science degree to have access to PhD, and you can apply to 3 different programs. Most PhD students actually get paid, have a scholarship. There are no tuition fees to attend PhD. And some of them are paid on professors' funds as fellow researchers. Other PhD students are paid by companies who want their personnel attend our PhD studies. So there are also a lot of opportunities, and PhD students really have the opportunity of attending conferences, of carrying out research at our laboratories, of following also the thesis of grad students in their Master of Science thesis work. So it is really an all-round experience. And Milan also offers many opportunities of attending events, of expanding one's knowledge. It's very good so for PhD students. Here is the list of PhD programs. We offer many services to international students. You will not be left alone. We have student associations, the Welcome Week for international students, a buddy program. You can have a buddy, a student who is already studying here, who might help you before your arrival and during their first months here. Language courses, any language, but especially the Italian language, because it's very nice. And now we accept students at our Master of Science programs who have no knowledge of the Italian language, but then you will be required to acquire at least a little bit of the Italian language to enjoy life more, and especially to reach your graduation. And if you want to remain in Italy and work here, of course, it will be important to have some knowledge of Italian. We have special discounts for our students in museums, on the public means of transports, cinemas, and so on. And we organize many events on campus. Every day there are events of any kind that you can attend free of charge. And also there is the possibility of attending many courses to expand your knowledge of and your soft skills. So this is very useful, especially when you look for a job that you have learned how to work in team, to speak in public, or whatever. There are so many possibilities, more than 200 actually, different courses that you can profit from. And once you have graduated, the career service will be a great opportunity for you. Just imagine that our university has got a wonderful reputation among employers. So companies come to us, come to reach our career service and offer jobs. Then we organize job fairs on campus where companies meet directly our graduates on campus. Many of our graduates in engineering find an occupation through the career service even before they graduate. So actually, you can check the statistics of graduates on the career service website, and many are international students who fall in love with the country and don't want to leave and start their work in Italy. Others decide to study here and then go back to their home country to work there, or go elsewhere and to work in other European or American or other countries. So definitely choosing Politecnico is a great opportunity for your job, but there is also the opportunity of launching your own, starting your own business, of becoming an entrepreneur. And we have PolyHub, which is a great help in this regard. Just think that it is ranked 5th worldwide as the best startup incubator. I think that Davide could tell us something about PolyHub and his work experience after his online graduation.
Yeah, sure. As I said before, Next Lab, one of the laboratory labs of Politecnico, has accompanied me through all my career in Politecnico di Milano. And in particular, at the beginning, on the third year of my bachelor, with two other guys from the lab, and with, the help of the professor, we founded a startup dealing with semiconductor. Just to give a simple idea and explain better, when we talk about semiconductor, we mean the development of electronic circuit, that are designed on silicon wafers. And just shortly after the constitution of the company, we were hosted in Polyhub, which is the startup incubator of Politecnico di Milan, and whose goal is to support young companies and mentoring activities, and also facilitating the costs of the office space, for example, or sometimes the licensing of development tools that can weigh heavily on the cost of the company. Polyhub also is a very inclusive place because Polyhub provide co-working spaces where it is easy to talk with other young company, but also with other companies that are already structured. So to share idea and to create some possible collaboration or cooperation with this company. I think that this is another opportunity that the Politecnico di Milano offer to students to try to stimulate the birth of a new idea in the technology field. That I think this is, the goal of an engineer. So again, Politecnico di Milano helps students with activity, parallel to the lesson and to the normal life of the student in the university. So thank you, Marina.
Thank you very much, Davide. I think it was very insightful for students who have ideas and could be tomorrow's entrepreneurs. By the way, meanwhile, Politecnico di Milano has got a very wide network of alumni, and some of them are really important and famous architects, designer, fashion stylist Gianfranco Ferré, or important architects, but also engineers such as Enrico Forlanini, a aeronautical engineer, or Pirelli, Giovan Battista Pirelli, founder of the famous and important industry of Pirelli. So there is an important network where you can really find information and connect with former students. I think now we can go on with the Q&A session, but first of all, please don't forget to visit our website, set the English language, and then you can also find the information for international prospective students. And if you want to know more, do not forget to contact us so we can reply to your doubts and we can keep in touch per email. So thanks for your attention, and let's go on with the questions.
Thank you, Marina. Very, very useful. And at this stage, if I can ask everyone that's participating to come on screen, which I know you're doing, thank you. Very useful and a great insight as well into not just Milan, but Italy as a whole and education in a whole. Now, we've had a few questions come through on the live session. And we've also had a few questions come through on social media. Now, for those of you that have asked questions, I've had to filter through what we feel are the most relevant ones, just purely because we're going to have a lot of people interested in more broader topics. So we will reach out to you, I promise. You have my word. The representatives here will reach out to you over the next few days. And if you have any issues or questions, do let me know. So To begin with, if I ask a question that has been quite frequent, we've had a lot of this, and I think you would expect it, is with COVID happening at the moment, what protocols do you have in place to ensure that a student feels loved still as part of a community, as part of a team, and B, and probably most importantly, will it affect their studies? Do you offer online studies? I know you've answered a bit of these questions already, but what are you doing at the moment? If I hand over to you, Marina, to begin with, and obviously Francesco a little bit as well.
All right. First of all, we have to say that at present, the situation in Italy is rather safe. I would say more than 70% of the Italian population or inhabitants actually have received vaccines. And we are returning to schools, we are returning to work, and we are returning to universities everywhere from today, the very first day. However, to enter universities, to enter trains or airplanes, you need to have the so-called green pass. So you would need to have received a vaccination, or to be sure that you are not infected. So by making a test just before traveling or entering the university. We really want to come back to university because we are aware how important it is to have good relations to other students, to the professors, to carry out research work in labs. Of course, online lessons have proved to be very important during this year. And we think that we will not simply go back to the world as it used to be, because we have learned a lot. We have learned, for instance, that some students may find it useful to listen again to lessons, for instance. Some are shy and do not dare to ask questions, and they maybe want to write. But it is too important to carry out, to look after relations in person. Cool. And we are thinking of a new concept of teaching, where we take advantage of the experience we've made this year to have, for instance, more visiting professors, for instance, who do not have to travel to come to Italy, who can hold their lessons from their home desk. We are thinking of building a sort of European campus with the enhanced program. So we are expanding our borders to Europe, but in the end, we are sure that the experience in Italy and in Milan in particular is invaluable because of the spurns of the ideas that you can have by having a direct contact to the professors, to other students, and especially in such an international environment. I remember we had some students working for us in our office, and we often have international students working for us, and it's a good opportunity because they help maintain themselves by, working for the university. And sometimes they talk about their experience in having a thesis carried out, a boy from Colombia together with a girl from Germany, and another one from the United States, and another one from Iran or from China. It's a great mixture, a great opportunity of learning new cultures and along with the Italian ones. But the protocols, of course, we have a huge responsibility towards our students, towards our community. So, of course, at the university, it will be necessary, at least in this period until the pandemic is still with us, to wear masks, to keep a certain distance. But at least we can meet and exchange viewpoints, and this is the most important aspect.
Of course, and I'm sure myself and Francesco will notice the questions are flying in now. Dimitra, I'm going to ask you a question that Dimitra Mountaki has asked in the Q&A. There's two questions, so I'm not going to focus on the course question, but it would be, how much does it cost to live in Milan? I mentioned it briefly earlier that compared to other major cities, London, Paris, I know myself, I've been there before, it's not as expensive. Are the properties and accommodation on campus? If they're not on campus, is it affordable? Are there things in place to make sure that they still feel welcomed, and so on from there? What are the opportunities there in terms of accommodation?
So there are many opportunities. So first of all, in total, the cost of living, depending on the city you select, will be around 800 or 900 euros per month. Depending once again on the city where you will live and on the campus that you will choose, the cost of accommodation will be a little higher if you live in Milan, of course, and cheaper if you live in other campuses like Como, Lecco, Piacenza, and Cremona. Approximately, we have halls of residence in all our campuses, and the approximate cost of the halls of residence is between 350 euros per month up to 500 euros per month, depending on different factors. So if you select a single room, or if you share your room with another student, if you select a room in a hall of residence closer to the city center, or in the outskirts, let's say, or more far away from the city center, we have several opportunities, and also not only accommodation for in our halls of residence, but agreements with other accommodation and also for residence for students. In addition, we have many agreements also for discounts for students. So, for instance, to fairs, museums, and also for the transportation, for the public transportation.
Excellent.
So,
and Davida, having lived and studied at the university in the city, would you like to add anything? Obviously, you're a real life example of a student coming through and everything else that comes with it. What would you like to add from your perspective that made it a real special experience for you, other than the fact that obviously it's worked out very well for you off the back of it, and you know, you're in a very good place now?
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, Milan was obviously a great city, offered a lot of things and a lot of stuff to do for students. And I mean, living in Milan, all also the costs are really accessible to all the students, I think, because obviously I live with my parents, so I don't have any cost about accommodation, something like this. I only the cost to live as a student. So this means, I mean, during also the weekend where the university leave you some time to go out, you can enjoy yourself in a very spontaneous way, and with not excessive cost, or so is really affordable.
Excellent, thank you very much. This will be aimed more towards Francesca and Marina. It's a question that is very hot on the topic. You know, students, it's very expensive, university life, you know, the fees and everything else. People have asked, if they cannot get a scholarship, are there opportunities to get a student loan? And in Italy, for international students, are they favorable towards students, and in particular international students?
So in Italy, in particular, we don't have student loans, but there are many opportunities to apply for scholarships. So as Marina was mentioning before, we have merit-based scholarships, and there are scholarships offered by the government. In addition, our students have the possibility to work on campus. So every year you can apply during your studies for, it's called 150 hours position. So you can work for 150 hours within our campuses, so in the offices of the university, earning around 13 euros per hour. So it's a very well paid job. If you want to apply to a PhD program as well, there are many scholarships available.
Excellent, thank you. I've got a couple more questions. I'm just conscious for the viewers and time and everything else. We've just gone over the 1 hour mark, so I will finish off with 2 questions. One which will be aimed very much towards Marina and Francesca, and one that will be very much aimed towards yourself, Davida. Okay, so the question that has been asked quite frequently on social media is in relation to other universities in Italy. How do you fare? You've mentioned already in your presentation that you're not one of the best in Italy. But what would be the advantages of, let's say, coming to North Italy and studying in Milan rather than going to, you know, the south of Italy or to Rome or to Turin, other cities that people might be more likely to go to because of the name?
It's a good question. I will tell one thing first, that Politecnico di Milano itself, wherever you go in Italy, but also abroad, is well known, is well reputed. So if you apply for a company, for both an Italian company or an international company, the university is very well renowned. So there are more reasons to select Politecnico di Milano instead of other universities in Italy. Milano itself, as Davide was telling you, according to its experience, has a very good position. So it's near the mountains and the sea, very well connected to other cities in Italy, but also to other cities in Europe. Yeah. So it's a very efficient city. So there are many advantages. Also, looking at the university, we have top laboratories. You can put in practice what you study. So there are many reasons also for Italian students to select Politecnico di Milano. We have many students from all over our country coming to Milan to study, because the quality is very high and the reputation is very, very good.
Excellent. And Davida, this is more aimed towards you, because obviously I know the other two live in the region, they live and breathe it, but you are a real life example, like I said. Question that's coming that I found really interesting, that I would be interested to know as well myself, is what is it like in Milan for nightlife, for being social? You've mentioned already that obviously it's not, you know, excessively expensive to do extra activities. You know, we know about the Italian Alps, we know about football and stuff like this. What's it like on a day-to-day? If you wanted to go out in the evening, is everybody sociable? Are the people friendly? And so on from there. Just give us an insight. It's a bit light-hearted, but that's how I want to finish this.
Yeah, obviously, Milan is in Italy. So the Italian culture is here as another city in Italy, but obviously Milan is big, it's a really big city. So there are a lot of Italians, so the culture, and Italian culture, you can feel it. I mean, during the night, Milan is still alive. So probably the life begins after the 10 p.m. You can find, I mean, a lot of restaurant or I mean, restaurant obviously for Italian people are really, really interesting or important. So this is a really good point. And also after restaurant, you can go, I mean, if you like, I mean, disco, you have a lot of disco, a lot of place where you can, I mean, you can make fun, and I mean, there are really a lot of activities. what I can say is, I mean, in Milan, you have to, I mean, it's the last sentence that I said in my first part in this presentation. So it's really important for me to try to have a sort of, you know, to have a sort of balance between all the activities that you have, because obviously Milan offers a lot, but also Politecnico di Milano offers a lot in terms of study and terms of activity. So this is a sort of, you know, equilibrium between all you have to find the equilibrium between all the activity that you have. But I mean, it's impossible to not find in Milan. I swear, it's impossible.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Look, Davida, Francesca, and Marina, most of all, I know your voice has been going. You've done a fantastic job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
To those of you that have asked questions, and they're still coming in both on social media and on here as well, we will get around to your questions, we promise. We will have a transcript of all the questions that have come through along with who's asked them. So we will reach out to you. It will be ourselves, it will be myself, postgrad.com, and it will be today's sponsors, Milano, as well. So all three of you, thank you very much. At this stage, I am going to just explain the upcoming Postgrad Insight sessions that we have coming up, along with the UK Festival that we have coming up as well. We do have a study in Manchester coming out next week, that's in the UK, along with a study in London, as you would expect, the week after that. Study in Scotland featuring the University of Glasgow. We have a study in law feature, which is a university from the University of Bristol and the University of San Diego as well in the USA, doing a joint session. And then we've got the UK Festival Week before we move on to other European countries, which will focus on many different UK institutions. You can see here the flyer, the different sponsors that we've got, the likes of Surrey, Swansea, School of Speech and Drama based in London, Royal Agricultural Uni. So we've got a huge blend of universities there that would be very interesting to find out more information about. Very similar today to today's sessions. Everybody that signs up will have access to all the sessions. And from there, there'll be a session every day, Q&A like we have today. It's been fantastic, and so on from there. For the time being, thank you very much. I will leave you with a short poll from our side, just asking if you'd like to sign up to the UK Festival Week or to any other future webinars that we have coming up. Marina, Francesca, Davida, thank you very much indeed. If you have any issues at all, any questions, please fire them to myself, Gareth at postgrad.com, Gareth at postgradsolutions.com, or Marina, Francesca, or potentially Davida will reach out to you for more information. For now, thank you very much. We'll see you soon. We're all going to turn our cameras off now. We'll all go into
Thank you, Gareth.
and we'll see you
Bye.
soon.
All the best.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.